Hi everyone, Nigel Saunders here. Welcome to part 3 of pruning up my avatar grove. I've got my avatar grove here in the greenhouse. I haven't pruned the main tree up yet. I've been working on all the surrounding trees and I'm almost done. I just have a little bit more work on those. The only work I have to finish up on the surrounding trees is to prune up this hanging growth, just shortening it up a bit, and then I can start on the main tree. You need a long, skinny pair of scissors to do this forest work, to reach in and prune the branches on the interior of the trees here. Half the battle with these branches is just figuring out where they come from and where to prune them. I think I have all the branches out on this side of these back trees pruned up. I'm going to rotate the forest around and start work from the back now, getting that second row of trees from the back pruned up. And again, it's just a matter of following each branch out and pruning each branch up, keeping my better branches and pruning away the ones that aren't going in a good direction. And I'm starting to remove a lot of the double branches, 2 branches growing from one spot, picking my best one. Getting rid of some of the whorls too. Trying to get light to each branch. If the branches don't get light, they just wither away and die. They grow really weakly. A lot of these branches at the back, the second row of trees, the branches are growing into the third row. So I've got to prune them back fairly hard on some, so the branches aren't shaded out. I've got the back of the forest all pruned up, so you can see each tree is an individual tree growing upwards. There's lots of room between them now. Yeah, so I'm very happy with that. Let's rotate it around to the front now and see what it looks like. Yeah, it looks nice. I've got lots of low branches still at the back, just all thinned out. Yeah, it really changes the look of the forest, seeing all the trunk lines. So next I'm going to start on the cathedral style tree in the middle here. So where do I start on a tree like this? I think I just pick a branch and begin pruning it. So the styling of this tree is that each of these branches coming up becomes a separate tree. So they look like miniature trees placed around the central trunk, and then the top will be mostly deadwood eventually, which will be a big step forward for this tree. Very big step. A scary step too. So yeah, so I've just got to start pruning these. So each branch has sort of a central leader, the cathedral part, the spire, and then all the surrounding branches fan away from it. It's a big job. There's a lot of branches and they're quite full, so I guess I'll start on the lowest branch here and just work my way up and around. So here I go. So this one, I need a central leader pointing upwards, which is this one, and everything else is more of a horizontal branch coming off of it. So anything kind of vertical off my branches I'll prune away, and everything horizontal I'll keep. Trying to get a sort of a miniature tree-like structure, and trying to bring it in compact also. And some of these branches I can have more than one leader coming up. I can have like a couple separating, you know, this branch into sort of more mini trees. That'll give a better illusion of size. It'll make the tree look larger. I also have to get some separation between my branches. You can see, you know, they're all kind of growing into each other. If I can get some separation between them, I think that'll look better too. On these old growth cedars, the foliage is, you know, quite tight clusters because it's so high in the air that, you know, there's not a lot of vigor or going to the trees. They're slowing down as they get older, and the foliage becomes very tight. And it may be because of the environmental conditions that they're kind of subject to a lot of wind and snow. It's starting to warm up here in the greenhouse, so I'm going to move the forest outside on the bench where it's a little cooler. I've got the Avatar Grove moved out on the outside bench now, so I will continue pruning up my cathedral tree. Eventually on the trees, all this soft growth slowly becomes woody, and you get some nice fine old looking branches on the tree. There is rain in the forecast for this afternoon, and it was looking very sunny with white fluffy clouds, but now I notice they're starting to darken up a bit. I noticed out front there seems to be a storm front approaching. It'll be interesting. I went inside and I checked my reference photos of cathedral style trees, and I'm wondering, I won't use the blue scissors, but I'm wondering if I should just shear all these branches into a conical form with a pointy top. I think that would be the best method of pruning, rather than picking all my individual branches trying to get that conical form. I think I'll just shear it, each branch to that conical form. So here I go. Alright, so this one kind of has a double apex here. So I'm going to start from the top and shear down to a conical form. And I want it all the way around. And I'll see how this technique works. It might be very effective, or it may not be that great. That's how you prune a hedge, is shearing it, and that gets the hedge shape pretty good. Because I'm not too concerned with the branch structure within this little conical form. It can be quite random, and so I think that's got this little tree pruned up now. So I'll do the same for this part of it, picking my leader and shearing. In the early days of this tree, I used to just prune it with the hedge clippers. Just profile pruning it to get my overall shape. So I'm kind of going back in time, doing the same thing as it's a bit more mature now. Okay, so there's that branch pruned up. So I've got two kind of conical forms to the tree, here and here. I think it looks pretty good. I think it certainly works. So I'll do the same here. That's not so great, but hopefully, you know, this one's kind of thin, but hopefully it'll
fill out, and it'll build every time I go to prune it. It'll be filled out a little more, and slowly the conical shape will evolve or develop. Okay, I think that one's as good as it gets. Now there's not much space between these two branches. I could take this one right off. I don't know. Maybe I'll just make space between them. Tighten up my conical form. I think that's good. I'll move on to this branch now. That looks good. Now I'll do this one. This one has quite a good conical form developing. That one's looking quite nice. Just got to tighten it up a bit. It's a little loosey-goosey looking. So it's just got to look like a little Christmas tree, each of these cathedral branches. At least according to my reference photos, that's what I see. And there's not a lot of pictures of cathedral trees on the internet. Usually it's from below looking up, so you can't really see them clearly. You almost need like a drone shot or someone climbing a tree beside it to take sort of a side view picture. But I think this is working. I think it's looking quite good. I'll do the branch up front here now. And this is the initial shaping of these branches, so as it grows, I will keep refining them over the years, doing some selective pruning. Once I have kind of the profile established, I can start selecting branches that are crossing, prune them out, and improving the form of it so it doesn't just look like a triangular shaped blob. It has a bit of structure within that conical shape, like that. Yeah, so there's another one. Yeah, I'm liking this. I think it's looking good. I'll rotate the tree around now and begin working on some of these ones. I'll start with this one. That one looks more like a ball shape, but eventually I'll develop a conical shape to it. Just take a bit of time. Now this branch is divided in two, so I'll do two cone shapes here. Pretty ruthless pruning, but I think it's going to work. That's looking good. So this branch is divided into two tufts, or two conical shapes. Now I do have a lot of low branches down here that I'll just kind of prune to integrate to this conical shape. Like that, so it's part of the same cone. Let's see how it's looking. Yeah, it's working very well, I think. And if some of these, smaller branches die off, that's okay. It's kind of nice to have some deadwood, some natural deadwood on the tree. These old growth cedars have a lot of deadwood naturally. So I'm not too worried about, over pruning some of the branches and having them die back, because in nature they do that anyway. So there, I got that little one separated. I'll do this one up top here now. Yeah, that looks good, all these branches. I've got to do this one still. This one divides into two, but I'll keep just one conical shape for it. And it may look a little unnatural until it starts growing again and the branches start to grow in and fill out a bit. So it may look a little freshly pruned after today, but I think given some time it'll start to look natural once again. Yeah, so there's that shape. Let me look from the front again, make sure I'm on the right track here. I think so. I think it's looking good. There's a view of the tree so you can see the branches that have been done here versus the fluff out back here, which needs to be pruned. Yeah, I think I'm very, very happy with the shearing method on these branches. I think it's going to work out really, really well. I'll continue shearing the branches into a conical form, then we'll come back and see how the tree looks. Hopefully it looks good. Touch wood. I've finished pruning up all the surrounding branches into that conical form, and one thing I'm watching is that when viewed from above, I'm making sure each one of these conical branches has full sun, so that it's not being shaded out by other branches. So I'm going to work in the apex now, and I think I'll prune, all these into the conical form too, creating a cathedral style tree. Exciting. Here is a look at the main tree now, all pruned up. So I'm really liking it. I think this is the technique to use. It really gets each branch separated. The only thing I have to worry about is the height of my conical forms. I want to encourage these lower ones to get taller and maybe keep these ones shorter. So yeah, I think it's looking really good. It certainly looks like the pictures of the old growth cedars. So I definitely think I'm on the right track here with the pruning. I'm working away at the landscape, cleaning it up. I'm going to save the detailed work on the landscape closer to show time if I show the trees. So here's a look at the forest now. And I'm showing you this because it is supposed to rain and I'm going out for lunch. Oh, they're calling me for lunch. So hopefully I'll be back to show you the trees in the sun. It looks like the rain is coming right on schedule. 3 o'clock, thunderstorms. I can't show you the forest in the sunlight anymore because it's gone all cloudy outside. Let's have a look at the forest now. My avatar grove sure has changed a lot in the last few days since I began this series. It's gone from a bushy forest to being able to see the individual trees. I really like that shearing method for shaping the branches on the cathedral style tree,
and I may use that shearing method for maintaining the form of the other trees into that conical shape also. I'll be doing work on the landscape of this forest as it gets closer to showtime in fall. That is all for this series. I'm Nigel Saunders. Thanks for joining me in the Bonsai Zone.